And I'd like to extend warm greetings to those who are now coming into our experience here. My name is Mike Blinder. I am the publisher of E&P Magazine. For those of you who don't know us, we are an authoritative voice of news publishing with a pretty robust audience. Our email database claims more than 35,000 news media executives. We have about 40,000 unique visitors to our website, and we still proudly, believe it or not, Shane, we still publish a print product in today's digital world. So we call ourselves E&P Magazine. And of course, what we love to do is educate and inform our audience about the innovative and amazing ways that we can create more efficiency, more revenue, and more audience. I think that pretty much sums up whenever we are asked what we feel the pain points are or the needs of the news publishing industry. It's build revenue, that top line revenue, which is essential to obviously meeting all the costs that we have. Number two, it's build an audience, because you can have a billboard in your basement, right? You need to build a very robust audience. And number three, find efficiency. How can you make sure that every dollar you're spending is being spent the perfect way? And that is why we do these twice a month, what we call sponsored webinars, where we allow our marketing partners to be part of our world. Those of you that are on Zoom with us, please, when you do put up a question on chat, I would love for you to chat. I want you to do me a favor and not chat just to the panelists, but hit that little pull down and chat to everyone. Let's keep an open dialogue going. And Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, your brother, Cody, who works at Elite Insights, is in there as well, who will help to answer any questions if we're too busy pontificating. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. He's in there now.
All right, so Shane Brinkerhoff, welcome. Shane, you are a marketing partner of E&P, and we appreciate that because we have a mission to do our job informing and enlightening the industry, and you support us, of course, and hopefully you see a good return on that. So you are now sponsoring this webinar to talk about the work you do with media companies far and wide. And that's why we brought in Ben Lindquist. Ben, welcome to the program. You are the general manager, correct me if I'm wrong, of Canyon Media. Am I correct, sir?
Correct. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
Excited to be here, guys.
Oh, it's an honor to have you. Of course, and those that don't know Canyon Media, you're way off in the Badlands, as I like to call. You're out in the deserts just northeast of Las Vegas. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah, we're about 90 minutes from Las Vegas, just up I-15, and it was perfect, like 65 degrees and sunny St. George weather yesterday, and it was snowing when I pulled in this morning. So go figure.
Thank you for your valuable time. I'm now, with your kind permission, going to bring Shane in. Shane, before we get started and we chat with Ben, because we obviously are making this a very important case study, what I'd like to do first is have you spend a little time, if you don't mind, sir, describing who Elite Insights is, your history, your heritage, your mission, and more importantly, who the hell are you and what the hell do you do, if I can be so bold, sir? Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, so Elite Insights, we've been around for a long time. We've been doing web-based software for traditional media companies for, about 28 years. I like to joke that we started when they used to call a dot a period back in the day in the mid 90s. We've been providing web-based software solutions for traditional media companies since then. Started in the late 90s in Yellow Pages. We brought one of the very first national Yellow Page directories to the internet and worked in that field for about 15 years before we kind of transitioned into radio and newspaper. We have been specifically focused on the best of product for about the last 6 years. And we've got a really great team that we've assembled that's ran hundreds of best of programs. So we kind of have a unique perspective since we've really kind of been in the publisher's shoes, not only executing programs, but actually feet on the street, out selling them. That's kind of how we've tailored our software kind of around that experience.
Excellent. And we're going to get you to chime in on how you deployed that for Ben here. But now, with your kind permission, I think I'm going to swing out and take us out to I don't know how to I have been, full disclosure, to St. George, Utah. But Ben, it wasn't to work for you, it was to work for your competitor. I believe, I'm not sure, this was back in the good old days. It was a Gannett paper I worked for out there, correct?
Sure, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
remember
Spectrum.
Spectre. I landed in Las Vegas and drove through the desert, and I keep thinking of all those gangster, books I read. They always said, when they killed someone in Vegas, they dug a hole in the desert. I don't know, but it's a beautiful ride, and then St. George is a thriving community. It's not only a community that is has industry, but it's also a tourist area. Correct? If I'm
Yeah, we're, as you can see on that map there, we're just a crow's flying away from three national parks just in your screenshot there: Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park, and then just a little bit further to the east, you also have the Arches National Park. So if you've ever seen the freestanding arch on the Utah license plate, that's about 4 hours to the east of us. So yeah, it's a huge tourism community right now. They've had Ironmans here for the last 10 years, I believe. Shane might know that one better than me. He's an athlete like that. But yeah, it's a great community. It's growing. We're seeing some of the growth from the exodus of California that many other Western states are, and it's just a beautiful place.
You are true multimedia. Correct me if I'm wrong, because not only do you have I always call it a legacy heritage of transmitters. You've got that radio. I mean, you got to understand, I started as a disc jockey. I mean, back in the 70s. So I'm a radio guy. I mean, I still have my reel-to-reel machine and I have an old cart machine in my office to remind me of the good old days, a radio. But you also have now are highly invested in doing a news product in print, correct? Why don't you describe the operation for us? Tell us the scope, the size, and what are your platforms right now and the size of your audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Just on the share screen that I can see there, we've got 9 radio stations. We've been in the market for, oh my gosh, almost 40 years on the radio side. And about 10 years ago, went into the news side and recognized kind of what you talked about with Gannett, with the physical publisher here, recognized a little bit of a window. They had gone a little more corporate, saw a little bit of an opportunity to gobble up some domains and bring in a non-traditional news piece. And what we found is that the market was ready for it, and it helped that we were kind of seeing some of the decline of the local paper here, but not so much because I thought print was dead, but more just based on just some of the opportunities for them kind of going more of a corporate model. So our focus kind of went right to how do we stay super local? And we are super loyal to that right now today. If it's not local, we're not covering the election unless there's some element that, they're protesting on the main drag, or there's something like that, because there's so much news outside of the market. We've tried to just make our name on being super local.
I know this is an old photograph. How large is your team right now? How many people do you manage?
Yeah, so yeah, looks like an old Christmas photo. So between the two teams, we've got over 60 people. Sometimes we'll get up around 70, but for our market, it's massive. I think the Spectrum at one point, you might know this better than me, but I think, man, they were well over 100 employees. I think they have 3 now.
Well,
here locally in our market.
Let's talk about scope of your audience. You have the dominant radio products. Some of them do deliver news. Am I correct? So
yeah, we've got a news. Yep, we've got a news talk station that is strictly news and opinion. We have 2 live programs on there, and then the rest of them are music formats. We have a Hispanic radio station as well. But other than that, we do have a sports talk station too. So other than those 3, the rest of them are all English-based music formats.
You have a pretty robust sales commitment to the town. You're not just selling radio ads and print ads. You have a very strong digital presence. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're selling digital agency services to the local community. Your reps are trained up on a myriad of products, correct?
Yeah, and I think you and I have talked about this offline. We've got some reps. We've got a rep in their 80s. We've got several reps in their 60s and 70s. And so this was a big leap to get, the staff to really adopt and not comprehend. They know, it's not much different from what we've all sold for the last 25, 30 years. It just looks and feels a little bit different. And so we've done a great job. Our director of sales especially, and some of our digital personnel have just done a great job of really trying to portray the vision in a way that we can get buy-in from everyone on our sales staff. But yeah, we offer it all. I mean, not just the geofencing and retargeting stuff that's kind of popped its head up. I mean, we do a video, we do email databases, we do just everything that basically you can come up with. If you want to buy ads on Hulu, if you want to buy ads on YouTube, you want to do anything online. And that was the cool thing about the news piece, is it kind of forced us down that road a little bit earlier than we were ready to. And so we learned a lot just from that side of the business.
All right. So, as someone who's trained thousands of sales reps in multiple languages, correct me if I'm wrong. You've never heard these words from any of your reps. I have too many things to sell. I mean, you've never heard that. It takes me too long to explain. My advertisers don't understand. I mean, there are some things we sell that you got to spend, like I'm OTT. You got a guy that still has cable. There must be somebody in your town that's still, paying for cable. They don't understand this world of streaming, and you've got to explain it to some of your advertisers. But in the truth, correct me if I'm wrong, because I have that radio background, and then I went into digital. You're really selling audience. Am I right? It all boils down to just audience.
Yeah, the beauty of the digital world brought us that term impressions. And we've tried to adopt those online, obviously, but on air as well. And that's really helped us. We're trying to get an audience, right? We're trying to reach as many people as we possibly can. And if we can do that, if they're all in little pockets, we'll add them all up and reach as many people as we possibly can, and then try and get our customers with the best message possible.
All right, so we've teed you up. Let's discuss best of. That is not a new concept. I mean, when I managed a radio group in Portland, Maine, we were, dominant radio group. There was a best of kind of thing going in the Alternative Weekly. I forgot the name of it. This is back in the 80s and 90s. And we used to get together in the conference room when they put the little, sign up things and we'd pick up as many magazines as we could, and then we'd cut them all out and make sure our morning show was number one. And I wouldn't be surprised if a burger place in town was doing the same thing. I want to be the best burger. I want to be the best place for a first date. I mean, this was always it's not a new concept to have your audience vote on a specific product or service that's their favorite. And then, of course, you monetize it. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time to explain this. Now, did you have a best of product prior to seeking out Shane here, or did you just kick it off with Shane? Can you just and don't trash a competitor. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, go ahead. No, absolutely. Yeah, no, look, it's funny you bring up the burger thing. We actually had a competitor in the market that was doing this and took a couple of years off, and we went, well, why don't we just start it up and pretend that we've been doing it all along and do it better. And the one that we kept coming back to was there was a burger place over on the west end of town, and that's what they would do. They would just stuff ballots, right? We thought there's got to be a better way. And just as you stated, this isn't, we didn't recreate the wheel here. This is not rocket science. We've been doing popularity and those types of contests since media was invented. So we tried it for a year. And you
tried it with Shane or with?
No, we tried it with another product.
Okay.
And we went, okay. And it was a lot of, again, I'm not gonna specify who, but we tried with someone else. And what we noticed was it wasn't quick enough. Documentation and such and forms were all on spreadsheets and on Google Docs. And our staff, we got a staff, we have 14, 15 sellers at any given time between our two teams. They're sitting there going, hey, we're getting nominations in. We need action. And so after the first year, it went good. Enough progress that we thought, okay, there's some revenue here, but we're just not doing it right. And so searched out Shane and Cody, and Cody, these two have extensive backgrounds in basic online problem solving, if you will, and corporate problem solving, and went, oh my gosh, all of these things match up where our gaps and our holes were in our products. And so the next year we basically doubled our revenue and went, oh my gosh, there's something special here. So that's kind of the
Okay.
special part about this.
So let me bring. I'm going to. By the way, full disclosure, I met with these two gentlemen yesterday to go over a script we were going to do, and now I'm going off script. So Shane, I'm taking you in now. Okay, Shane, I don't want to sound like I'm doing like why is this night different than all other nights? I'm now going back to my heritage here. What is so cool about Elite Insights? And full disclosure, you actually white label a product. This product, others sell your product too. Why? What was the secret sauce? What makes you different that Ben was able to say, hey, I did it on my own, or I did it with this other company. Now I got this thing that's just churning and working for me. You got your elevator pitch. Do it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I think kind of what I talked about before is we just kind of have a unique, perspective on this because we've actually been out and selling these programs. So our software has just a ton of flexibility. So, one of the things that Ben talked about was real-time data. So everything's in a web-based dashboard. As nominations come in, you're able to see that stuff in real time. We've got a lot of stuff built around the sales cycle. So, a nomination can come in, sales manager can see it, they can assign it directly to a sales rep gets a notification, can call somebody up, hey, congratulations, you've just been nominated, you guys must be doing something great over there. We'd love to come and sit down with you and talk to you about our contest, show you what we're doing. So just no matter how they want the product set up, we have a ton of different products. We can put custom products into it. There's just a lot of different ways that you can access information really quickly, and then being able to sort. And there's a lot of different ways that you can run these programs. Some people do a nomination elimination round. Some people move everybody onto voting. Some people do nominations and voting at the same time. Some people want to gather email addresses. Some people want voting by IP, so it's not as restrictive. So we have all that type of customizable flexibility within the program, and to be able to, sponsorships. We've got some really unique products to us that are really valuable in driving traffic and allowing the customers to easily ask their people to vote for them in a manner that drives huge vote counts, community engagement.
All right. So Ben, it's not brain surgery. You're going to cast a wide net to your audience and say, hey, do you have a favorite something? Nominate. That's the first thing, the nomination process. And you did this across all media, right? Yeah. Everything, digital, legacy broadcast, and print. Just combined all of your sellers into one happy thing. How much pushback did you have from your sellers of saying, well, I have enough to sell? I mean, I have launched over 1,000 programs over 25 years. Those that don't know me, that may be on the broadcast side, I mimicked one of my best friends in radio days was a guy named Jim Doyle. We came out of the same radio station in New England. We trained under the same guy.
Oh, wow.
So I became the Jim. I did the Blitz thing where we'd come in and launch a new product, train the sales reps, go into the markets. And the biggest pushback was, well, I'll just be swapping dollars. My team will stop focusing on the legacy. They're just gonna, and then it's all gonna fall off the books. How hard was the salespeople to adapt into this and come on board? And how easy was this transition in bringing Shane's tools in and getting them excited about it? I need to set the stage on the ethos, if I can use that term, or your ecosystem. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, well, about Shane and his team, I'll say this. Some of those gaps that I was referring to were some philosophies that we didn't understand and know from just running a contest for 1 year, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so after running one for a year, we didn't know there was necessarily a better way. We just knew there was some potential. And so that's what was kind of cool about their team is, customer service. I think we all know this, especially in the broadcast and in the publishing side. Customer service is not like it was 30 and 40 years ago at all. And now it's all tickets. It's all wait on hold. It's talk to an AI bot. And so that was one of the first things that kind of stood out to our team was, But we can ask people, like we can pick up the phone and say, I have no idea how to do this. What do you recommend? And as opposed to getting a 21-year-old that just got the job and is getting $12 an hour and says, well, it's however you want. Here, go to this video and watch that. And, if you have questions, I'll put a support ticket together. We have guys that have been in the industry and know how to generate revenue answering back. So I'd like to say, oh my gosh, our salespeople jumped right in. We've got every one of them from top to bottom are all pros, and they would never push back and never say that. But it helped. We did have pushback. We had people saying, well, didn't someone else run this contest? Or isn't there, are people really going to buy into this? Or how am I supposed to ask my favorite client for more money?
There
If
you
you've heard it all, if you think you've heard it all,
yeah.
that's one that you're like, wait, what? And so, yeah, we had to really buy in, and it helped having Shane and his team do that, because it wasn't just me or a director of sales saying, do this, do that. We had guys who were like, look, we run 100 of these a year. We've done hundreds of these contests. We know online, we know voting, we know how all these things work, to come on and kind of ease some of those fears. So it was almost like that third party validation of being able to not just say it's another sales manager telling you what to do. So we did have, I will say, we did have a couple of reps that early on, and it was one of our top sellers who had pushback. Well, I'm going to see how this goes before I present it to my clients. And about a week or two in, you know how it is,
Once
Mike.
they see the money, it just changes everything.
And that's
All right.
and that's it. A week or two in, she came in and was like, oh my gosh, okay, so what do I need to say? How do I handle this objection? Can you go out with me and do this? And before too long, obviously they're all
on
counting.
board. So let me I got two sales guys listening to a sales guy. I mean, this is really all about sales and revenue, and we're going to dive into the numbers you generate. Well, no, it isn't. I mean, we're not discussing winning Pulitzer prizes. I got a pretty vast audience here. We're discussing top line revenue. And I maintain, and I do a lot of speeches on this, I maintain the hardest thing in the local media sales process today is getting the lead and getting in the door. I'm assuming that we're all living by some form of solution-based sales process. We've all got tools in our toolbox. Nobody is selling just legacy anymore. Most successful sales teams have all the digital services from OTT to Google AdWords. You got the box, but you need to get in the door with a warm lead with a damn decision maker. And that's hard today, especially since traditional retail is no longer the way it used to be when I was selling in the 80s, going down Main Street. I mean, it's service-related businesses, heating and air conditioning, home improvement, senior services, legal, real estate. I could go on. And those decision makers are hard to get in front of. Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. The beauty of this is it's instant lead generation coming from your audience. That's the beginning of this funnel. Moreover, it's the warm lead that Ben just said, hey, Mr. Advertiser, you just got nominated as a best of, and what are they going to say? I don't want to talk to you. Am I right, Shane? Isn't this why this thing is just so comfortable to take into a market?
Yeah, that's really, we look at every nominee as a lead. And, if you think about that from a sales perspective, and if you get your people to buy in fact, we've even had markets where we've had reps that, have been trying to get into a vertical of business. And one example was a medical. We had a rep, she'd been trying to get into medical forever. And so the day that nominations opened, she nominated all of her medical clients and then called them up and congratulated them on being nominated. And she said she didn't even mention that she was from the newspaper. She just mentioned she was from the contest. So, and then when she got in, she also got to present her newspaper products. But it was different when she called this oral surgeon and was like, hey, congratulations, you've just been nominated. And the doctor,
I can't believe
done something great today. I'd love to come and sit down with you and talk to you about a contest. Can I bring him lunch? And she went down. He actually spends about $16,000 a year in that contest, and he's about a $5,000 a month annual for about the last 5 years. So it's just like how you get in and talk to him. And so that's really the way that we've set our system up, is to be it's a lead generator. It's a place where they can track every lead, the status of the leads, have notes, have information and be able to be sorted, have sales managers be able to look at that data to be able to make sure they can hold reps accountable. So yeah, this is a huge lead funnel once a year that you get. And reps, I never hear say, I don't have enough leads, or I've got too many leads. I need more. So
Right.
Ben, you're obviously nodding your head. You just want to
Yeah.
chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find out who that rep is and see if she. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, seriously,
But what'll
I've never
blow
thought
you
of that.
away? What'll blow you away is, so we ran the math first couple of years. 42% of the people that spent money in the contest were existing customers. So think about that. Reverse engineer that for a second. That means 58% were people we had never done business with. And so that's where I kind of coined this idea with our staff of, look, let's go out and get that halo revenue, right? That revenue that you do business with someone for the first time. And it's not just in a contest, right? I know many publishers will do, they'll do, like right now we have the Parade of Homes coming up in our community. And that's a huge kind of one-time thing. Well, and we have these one-time promotions or events all year, but for us, we were able to create this one-time event, but also have this kind of ripple effect of business where 58% of the people that participated in the contest had never done business with us. So you talk about lead generation, you talk about this additional trailing revenue. It's the reason I'm on here today.
All right, so let's get into the numbers now that we're
right.
midway through our journey. Then we'll get into the final logistics. Okay, so last time you and I discussed this, because Shane's been an advertiser of ours, or a marketing partner, we had to say. We did a case study on you from the last launch. You're in the middle of one right now, right?
Yeah. We're just wrapping up nominations. Yep.
So we were like just doing, the 2024 version, and you just went nuts. You said you had generated over 600K in total revenue. In your humble opinion, that's not swap dollars. That's new revenue. Moreover, that's big revenue, right? I mean, I don't want to get into your numbers because I'm sure, it's none of my business.
No, I'm an open book. If someone can come in here.
This is like huge for you. I mean,
let me put it into perspective. And obviously it's not all relative to everyone's market. We're all, it might be big markets, little markets. We were not a massive market 10 years ago. And we're still not a massive market. Our DMA for television is still Salt Lake City, which is 4.5 hours to the north, right? Yes. So, we're not Las Vegas, we're not Salt Lake. Our population is about 180 to 200,000 people in surrounding county. So 7 years ago, our news site in a January, which I think most people can appreciate. January is not we're coming off of the December high, and as sales reps, you're trying to figure out how on earth can I just make it to April to get my March commissions. But in a January 7 years ago, we were lucky to do 100,000 on our news side, and maybe $300,000 in revenue on our radio side. Okay, so this January we did over 1.1 million. 550,000 of that was our best of product, and we're not even to the voting part yet.
This is so that's where you currently are at now. It's almost like I remember you saying in the previous case study we did with you, you said it's like it invented a new month, after
it's a 13th month. I mean, you've basically created another month of revenue. And for us, what used to be our worst month of the year is far and away our best month of the year. So my suggestion to anybody listening would be, look, if you're apprehensive, find a month that you are traditionally lower or off and test it. Like, put it into action. Because if you want leads, if you want to generate revenue, which I hope is what we all do, then this is a product that does that. And it's not that it's not that it's been, like you said, we didn't reinvent the wheel. It's just a better way. It's a better way to do it.
All right, let's put the money aside because that's not important.
Yeah, sure.
You said sarcastically.
Yeah.
Let's discuss let's discuss something even more important, your brand and your audience. I mean, I know everybody's heard the term first party data. The nerds are always screaming at us. You don't have enough you don't know your audience. You don't have your audience.
Right.
This, Ben, okay, Shane, you're the nerd here. If I may, Shane, you're the Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. This not only builds revenue turnkey, but it's also really helps you build data and build that audience because as people are nominating and voting, they're becoming part of the database of the media property. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah, everybody's got different goals when they're doing one of these contests. One is just, sometimes it's community engagement, sometimes it's revenue, all the times it's revenue, but the more revenue that you can get on it. But yeah, if you can build your newsletter database, if you can build your database of business owners so that you're gathering business owner contact information during the nomination process, all of that type of data together is so valuable to a media. Email list for a newspaper is very valuable. Newsletters, being able to control that traffic. You never know what's going to pop up if you're going to be Google Showcase, if you're going to, you're going to be popped off of one of these news sites where you might be engaging traffic. Facebook's charging you more and more. So, being able to have great community engagement, business owner engagement, mailing lists, as well as revenue are all really valuable.
All right, so let's circle back, if we may, to your brand, Ben. I mean,
Sure.
I'd never call EMP a magazine. I call it a brand. And
Yeah.
it's my relationship with Shane is important, but my relationship to my readership is important. My relationship to the entire vendor community is important. These are things that I'm constantly trying to build and bolster. And I don't want to brag or even get into our own internal workings, but I reject more of these webinars than we do because if we don't think the product is worthy of spotlighting, I mean, this audience expects something of our brand. You're the
Right.
same, right? The business community in your town expects something from you, and you're not just out there hawking away. You want to make sure you're serving the community. How is this? How is this modified, helped, polished that brand in the business community? Can you put that into some form of metric, or at least give us a little idea, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can quantify it outside of the revenue, other than maybe anecdotal experiences on the street where, you have people come up to you and say, "Oh my gosh, oh yeah, you guys are the leader now." That wasn't the case 10 years ago, where everyone that you come in contact would say that. But look, I joke about the revenue. The revenue is obviously how we pay the team and we keep the lights on, and we're able to grow and invest in new products. But the reality is that our connection to the community is really what drove this. We were experimenting the first couple of years. And so what we identified is a couple of things. One, being a business owner and being in business is really difficult. Okay. It is not easy. And many of us on here might know that as well. Multiply that by the guy that's got to manage, a team of 16-year-olds through a drive-through flipping burgers. That's not easy. Not easy. I wouldn't trade for that job. And so that's really kind of the heart of it. Is we recognized these business owners and these businesses and these teams, they don't get a lot of recognition. And so as much as it feels like, oh, hey, we're going after the money, the reality really is that this is why the businesses love it so much. They don't get credit. And we really recognize this. So we do a big gala, and
Let's get
it
into
started,
that.
and so it started off as kind of a cocktail hour. In fact, Shane, one of Shane's programs, said, "Hey, we're going to just do an open bar and give out the awards and do stuff like that." And we went, "Huh, we ought to try that." And so that's another one of the things that I'll give credit to Shane and his team is they shared that idea. That was not my idea. Although years later, everyone's like, "What a great idea, Ben!" And I'm like, "Well, it wasn't me." But so we do a gala now on the day that we announce the winners, and it's incredible the amount of people that show up. We had over 650 people show up last year, and it's a celebration. Like, these people do not get credit. They don't get someone that says, "Hey, you do a great job at business. Thank you so much. And here's a medal, as you can see there, and here's a sticker for your window at your business that you can proudly put on there." And so that has to be the buy-in, I think, from anybody that's doing this. Is they have to want to do something special for the business community. And then the actual community itself, it's been gamified through the platform that we use on the Lead Insights. to make it so that it's kind of fun and it's kind of easy to use, and it kind of feels like you're, a giant popularity contest, and yet the rules make it so that it feels fair. And so it's been huge for us. Like, honestly, I would credit that for where we're at in the community as a business leader, probably more than anything else. I mean, obviously, we'd like to say we're doing the right things, we have good people, all of that's true. But the way that we've been able to perceptually climb to the very top is through an event just like this.
And look at this. I love this book you published. I mean, I hope you're seeing it on your screen there,
Yeah,
Ben.
yeah.
But this is amazing. This is all revenue, right? I mean, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
just.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so the majority of what we've done has been digital. We do some coloring books and we've printed some other pieces here and there. I think that was kind of the cool part for us as a digital side publisher, is we went, oh my gosh, I love print. And for anybody that's saying print is dead, I would
yeah.
argue to the grave, it is very much alive. And if you can get something like this that people get excited about, that lives, like the cool thing about this is, this thing lives on for 8, 9 months out of the year, because we do it separate from like an insert or anything like that. And we have several racks around town that we've kind of utilized, about 25 of those at any given time. But yeah, it's a beautiful magazine, and you get an idea. I mean, it's a chance for these businesses to show off their products and their people. And what
I got to
business person doesn't love that?
I'm going to get you in trouble because I've been asked to speak at a radio event later this year. I'm going to take that tape of you saying you love print. You're the radio guy now.
Oh, I thought you'd edit that out.
No, no, sir. You're a radio guy talking. No, but how hard was it to get, again, I'm off topic, I mean, off our script. How hard was it to get the legacy radio reps to understand the value of selling a print ad? Was it easy?
No, it wasn't. At first they went, wait, why are we doing this? But I'll tell you, if you've really got to just get a couple of people to buy in, and then it's like anything else. As soon as they see sales coming in, and as soon as they hear a little bit of the energy in the building, and honestly, that's kind of the thing that's been the most magical about this, is it energizes the halls, right? It's I can't think of another time of the year that there's as much excitement and energy and passion in the building as there is when we're doing this campaign for the couple of months.
I got to say, and I'm sorry I haven't reminded our audience, I'm getting hand raises now. We don't know what to do with a hand raise. What we want you to do is go to chat, click on everyone, and ask your question. If you have a question now, or a concern, or you think that one of these guys is, giving you hooey, get it out there right now. We want to address them to the audience. Just it's in chat, and I think we can keep an eye on the Q&A as well. But I got a lot of hand raising going on, and I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with a hand raise because I think I have to turn on your audio. Okay, and then so please get into webinar chat and tell us what you're thinking, your questions, and what have you. Shane, we're getting near where we want to start getting down to the rubber hitting the road. Can you talk to me about deployment? How did you deploy this market? How hard was it for Ben? Did he have to like reprogram his entire website? Did he have to learn basic HTML? Did he have to move everything to a new server? Obviously, I am being sarcastic. How easy was it for Ben, who likely is trying to manage 50 products at once, manage the sales team, to deploy something like this? Just give us the quick overview, sir.
Yeah, so deployment's pretty simple. I mean, everything is a web interface. We use an embed code. We have options. Most people like to embed it into their site. We have the ability to also do standalone sites. So Ben actually does a standalone site. So we have a lot of different options for how they want to deploy. But really, we just sat down with this team, kind of defined the parameters of the program, what items they'd like to sell and monetize, and customized packages, and then we helped them create the sales collateral. We did sales trainings for the team on how to sell the programs, really based around the parameters that they defined as the leadership team. So everybody does contests a little bit different. So we just have to, whether it's, whatever type of rounds they're doing, which ones they're selling in. So Ben's and specifically, they allow everybody onto voting, and they take all their focus and just sell the voting round. instead of doing a nomination round. So we put collateral around that, helped them build that out, did sales trainings, and tried to train the reps on the back end, how to use it, how to be able to get logged in, how to be able to manage their nominations, all that kind of stuff.
And Mike, by the way, one of the reasons that we had this conversation back and forth with these guys, because we had thought about doing it a different way, is we wanted to allow everyone in the nomination period to get through to the voting period, because we realized how many leads were coming through, right? These are all people, the more people you can get to, we kind of talked about leads for a second, but when you're able to get somebody to nominate their business, and when they give you the decision maker's name, their phone number, their email, their web address, and then you're able to contact them and not say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about some advertising, but you're able to say, hey, congratulations, you've been nominated. We're so excited. Do you have any questions? Can I stop by there and talk to you about the program and how to best compete? That is the ultimate definition of a warm lead. In all of my years, in 25 years in media, I've never seen anything like that.
All right, we got some questions now brewing around in the chat room. This one's for you, Ben, so stay on the screen if you don't mind. How do you keep clients invested in the program year after year? Do they get bored with it? I mean, if you have a 2022 winner, do they say, oh, I've already won, it's getting old? Or do they say, I want to keep my mantle and my trophy and get a new medal? How does that work out?
It's a great question. No, and this is what we worried about year two for sure. The attrition is single digits, low percentage. And here's why. It's actually the opposite. People, they want to know, how on earth do I make sure that I win it again? And how do I make sure that I protect what I just won? It becomes a badge of pride. In fact, this one behind me, this 5-year badge, at 5 years, we've had about 30 of them. We've done a 5-year badge, and at 10 years, we'll do a 10-year badge. And out of all of the 230 plus winners, we had about 25 that had won 5 consecutive years. And to illustrate my point, we had a couple of people, we're in year 7, that went and said, well, what if I won silver one year, but then I won gold for 5 years? Can I still get one of those badges? And we said, hey, look, no, sorry, we're protecting this thing. And so businesses have really sunk their teeth into it and realized, hey, we've got to find a way to win it next year, which puts some pressure, right? Notably, it puts some pressure back on the sales rep to not oversell and overpromise, and to make sure that they do whatever they can to help. That's one of the cool things about the platform, again, is the voting products. It's a popularity contest, but it's hard to win a popularity contest if you treat people bad, if you don't have good products, if you're a jerk to everybody, if your customer service sucks. And so what we've found is that if you look at every one of our winners, I don't think you could go through there on any of them, any common community member, and say, well, I doubt that's one of the top 1 or 2. So that's what's helped give the credibility to the contest, which in turn makes it so that people want to continue to win year after year.
I want to address some questions in chat right now and keep them coming. I got to say that the Metro Wire is saying that Central Wisconsin's biggest battle for local advertising dollars is Facebook. No, it's not Central Wisconsin's biggest battle. It's everyone's biggest battle. I mean, there's no question that the perception of the local advertising community, right or wrong, good or bad, perception is reality, if I use that old term, right, is that social media is where you want to sink your dollars. And they ask, does this combat that? I think it should be up, but go ahead. Shane, in your opinion, when you hit an advertiser that says, oh, I already do a Facebook post, so I don't need advertising, this cuts through that, right? Because there's ego in this, there's prestige, all that and more, and it's hyper local, right?
It is. And, everybody battles the Facebook and the social media pieces. With this, they could at least do a one-time buy. They can still promote that on Facebook to help get their votes. I think the best thing that the contests do is a great way to get in past the gatekeeper, talk to somebody, and actually show them your products. Because a lot of times we've gone out and done trainings and stuff like that, and we've gone with sales reps and businesses, and people are talking about, how do I get in? You kind of get stuck in a groove of your core businesses. How do I get out of this? People always ask us, what categories really like to compete in this? And, we start saying, oh, medical's really good and law is really good and home services are really good. Any of these people that can't advertise and say, I'm the best dentist, but they can say, I was voted the best dentist. And sometimes it's hard for sales reps to kind of get out of their comfort zone and go out and talk to that other group of people. But it's a great gateway to be able to come in, pitch this product, but then also be able to present your products that you've got. So, maybe it opens up a new client base.
Same media companies asking this, which I think is a relevant question. And they say we have a Gannett print pub that already does best of in our market, or they call it something else. Is that market then a persona non grata? Can you not deploy your own program in competition if there's a major media company or a media company that's already doing such a campaign? Is that for Shane or is that for Ben? Do you have a comment on that or what?
I'll just say we have two other radio markets, one in Logan, Utah, the northern part of the state, and we have another one in southeast Idaho. And both of those markets have at least one or two additional best of contests. And what I can tell you from just a revenue standpoint and from a credibility standpoint is that they've been able to overtake all of those after the first or second year.
And I would part of it
is the medals, part of it is the presentation. We do little things that just make it feel like it's a bigger deal. And I do want to say one thing too, Mike. Shane's point about those categories like medical and law, categories like, I remember when I started, if you could get anyone in the medical field to advertise because they're a doctor and they're board certified, it was below them to ask for customers to come in.
I agree.
They also by law can't proclaim that they're the best at anything, by the way.
Right.
But a contest can, the community can, and so you can advertise that in multiple ways. Quarter page ad, full page ad, magazine ad, radio ad of me saying, hey, this is Dr. Lindquist, and I'm so grateful to Central Wisconsin for voting me the best dentist in Wisconsin. Like, thank you so much. You can't do that any other way. So it arms these categories with things and ways that they were never able to talk to. And then when you're able to go in and talk to them and help them do that, and then you say, well, hey, I lean into the Facebook thing. Yeah, those dollars are there, but let's take a little bit and do this and also promote it on Facebook. This is another way to actually have something to say, not just another Facebook ad that you're going to scroll through. So the more you can lean into those things and identify these categories, I'll say this one more thing is, if you're looking at categories, you kind of have to reverse engineer it. We looked at categories that we weren't getting money at and tried to go and target those. We weren't huge in medical. We weren't huge in law, actually. And it's kind of got that whole, well, look, if you can get one lawyer on in print, in online, in radio, boy, there's three other lawyers that want to suddenly get on too. I've noticed that throughout the years. And so this is one of those tools that makes that a reality.
Cody, just
say one more. Can I say one more thing on that, Mike?
Sure. I just want to say, Cody, there are people asking how they can get a demo. Would you do me a favor and pop up there you go. Good. Cody's just reading my mind. I want to make sure in the chat room people can find a link to talk to you, Shane. Go ahead, Shane. What were you going to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing on that subject is, if there is a lot of contests that we run have competitive contests in the marketplace. And so a lot of times what we like to do is look at what that contest is doing and how they're set up, and then see if we can set our contest up maybe a little bit different so that we offer a little bit different presentation. So for example, if a Gannett contest is doing a top three nominated or the only ones that get to go onto voting, sometimes we'll do a contest where we allow the entire community onto voting, and then we can call it a true community contest or something like that. We'll zig a little bit and zag around what they're doing to make it so that our contest stands out a little bit more. So we like to look at what competitors are doing and see how we can take the software and make it so that it's something a little bit more compelling than what they're doing currently.
Smart.
That is smart. And what I would also like to add, if I may, am I allowed to add? Yeah. Well, heck, it's my show. I can do whatever the heck I want. What I'd like to add is that in 2008, I wrote a white paper on this, and you can find it on the internet. I talked about borrowed trust. When the recession hit in 2008, everybody got wary of spending money unless they saw a review. Ergo, that started Angie's List, if you remember, and then suddenly
Yeah.
social media started having reviews. Then Google Maps jumped on board and everybody went nuts. But let's face it, our society today is a borrowed trust society. The number one way you can lift a brand, and I do speeches on this to advertisers, is a recommendation, a review. And you see even the national businesses are doing it all the time. This is an instant borrowed trust. I mean, people can, when they see someone was voted best of something from a credible news source, they've got their, and you were right, Ben, that was brilliant. The hardest thing in social media is to find compelling content to post there. I mean, there's businesses say they're on Facebook where they're putting their menu up. That doesn't work. I mean, you got to have something valid, a story to put in there. So this is an amazing way you can do that. We're getting to the end of our journey, Shane. I want you to bring it home. Do the elevator pitch now for how someone can learn more, that this isn't going to cost an arm and a leg. Go ahead. You got your audience. We're going to be wrapping it up real soon. So Shane, bring it home if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you, to anybody who's watching, if you're currently running a contest or thinking about running a contest, we'd love to have you, go to our website, just leadinsights.io. There's a button there to book a demo. We'd love to, take an hour, sit down on the phone, do a call and see if, there's anything we can do with our software to make a more profitable contest for you. If we've got a lot of import mechanisms. If you're currently running a contest, we have a way to get contests set up. The onboarding's really easy. We actually had a client call us on a Friday that needed to have a contest running by Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're able to get that up and running. The cost is not very expensive. It's a small monthly fee per contest, and we'd love to sit down and talk with anybody about their contest and see if we could help them.
Moreover, I'm getting questions about, first of all, let me ask Ben a question. Someone would like to see your sales collaterals, your pitch deck. Would you mind sending that to me? Because I'll answer the next question. People want to share this webinar's recording with some of their staffers. Anybody who's registered for this webinar will be getting a link within the next few hours to the actual recording, a write-up about what was said. And moreover, Ben, could I I hate to put you on the spot, would I be able to include possibly your pitch deck? Because I maybe someone wants to see how you're presenting it to the advertising community.
Yeah, I'm an open book with that stuff. I think, that's one of the things I love about the broadcast and publishing community is collaboration. I mean, I'm a member of the Idea Bank as well, which is 100 broadcasters, and I'm taking stuff all the time. So if there's something I can pass along or help, and I've told Shane this too, I think that's probably why he's wanted me on here, is I love talking shop. I love talking sales. So I'm happy to have you share my information too. If someone has questions that, maybe they want a little bit more how we do it, I'm happy to answer any of those or spend some time on the phone and just talk, because chances are I'll probably learn something from them too. And Mike, I didn't get a chance to mention this. The database side of this, because I got so excited about the revenue. The database side of this is so lucrative, right? We're always in the struggle. You mentioned the first party data for a second there, and I got distracted, but the database side of this is so lucrative and powerful. What we've been able to gather just in email databases and contact information, that is kind of that where I talk about, yes, it's the contest, but all of these trailing months that you're able to engage in ways that we weren't prior. Especially where we all have content platforms and we're trying to figure out ways to increase our audience sizes. That's another one of kind of the secret sauces in this whole process.
Well, I would like personally to thank Ben Lindquist, General Manager, CEO, head honcho. I could come up with a million ways to say it, but you're, of Canyon Media. And Shane Brinkerhoff. Shane, thank you for your support of E&P, and more importantly, thank you for bringing this product and the benefits of it to the news publishing community through our our platform. We appreciate both of your valuable time. If I may, it's eliteinsights.io, eliteinsights.io. And Shane, you have a hard email address, right? What is it again?
Shane at eliteinsights.io, SHANE.
All
Very
right.
easy.
Once again, those that have registered, you'll get a link shortly to the recording of this and, of course, the write-up. We thank all of you for your valuable time, and thank you so much for attending. Gentlemen, have a great day. We really appreciate you.
Thanks.